Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this Inside Instagram webinar. My name is Nina Kovner, and I am the co-founder and lead passionista at Passion Squared. And I'm here with my super awesome dear friends and amazing hairdresser, Ira Pope Sage, who is our special guest today. We'd like to thank you all so much for joining us. We're super excited to share our passion around Instagram and as well as the social and digital web. So again, like I said, my name is Nina Kovner. I'm with Passion Squared. I would love it if you visited passionsquared.net and subscribed to my blog. And you can also check out previous webinars and workshops and all sorts of stuff. So check out passionsquared.net. You can also find us on Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, of course, Passion Squared. And you can find Ira at epichairmovement.com. Of course, on Facebook, you can find Epic Hair Movement on Facebook. And of course, you can find Ira on Instagram. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we always start with why. And so first and foremost, we want to talk about why social and digital for salons, because we really believe that once we understand the why, the what and the how becomes so much more manageable and really have so much more purpose. And then we're going to get into what is Instagram and why does it matter? How does Instagram work? This is a big one that we're getting from the community right now, really wanting to understand exactly how Instagram works and then creating a plan for action. Because we can all hang out on this webinar today and we can have a blast, which we will. But without a plan and without taking action, it really is not probably the best use of your time. So we really want you to get the most out of it, the most value out of it. We want you to make a plan and take action on that plan. So why social and digital for salons? For those of you that follow Passion Squared and know me, you know that my life is a series of quotes. So much so that my entire left arm is tattooed with quotes that have really shaped my life and my story up to this point. So to me, quotes really help frame ideas and concepts and really help drive home messaging. And so I'm reading this book right now, which is so awesome, called What's the Future of Business, or hashtag WTF, best hashtag ever. And it's written by Brian Solis. And I just grabbed this quote when I was reading it the other day. And he says, all too often, by the time we realize that change is needed and that we must shift to a new way of thinking, it's already too late. And so what we do at Passion Squared is we really want to empower your awesome. We want to make sure that you're empowered by the information that you need to make good decisions for your business, for your brand. And whether you're a salon owner or an independent artist wanting to build a brand for yourself, it's really important to understand the why behind social and digital. We hear so much about word of mouth. And, for those of us that have been in the salon industry a long time, which one of them is me, another one would be Ira, and many people on the webinar today, we know that the foundation of building our business is word of mouth. But what's new and what's so amazing and incredible is that word of mouth has been turned just into this global platform of social networks. So when word of mouth used to be just walking down the street and talking to someone at the butcher shop or the store, what we're seeing now is we're seeing Yelp, and we're seeing discovery on Google, and we're seeing Foursquare recommendations, and we're seeing Facebook recommendations and tweets going out and Instagram shout outs, and word of mouth has just blown up into such an amazing opportunity for us as an industry, as well as us as individuals looking to build our business. It's just phenomenal. And another thing to really understand the why behind social and digital is about discovery. And I talk a lot about discovery because I really believe that if we understand how and why to become that, why becoming discoverable is important, and then how to become discoverable. That gives us purpose on the platforms. So many times I hear from the community that I don't know what platform to be on. And someone said I should be on Twitter, and someone said I need to be on Facebook, and I need to be on Yelp, and I need to be on Instagram. But what's important is to understand, where is your community? Where are the clients that you're trying to attract? Where are people consuming stories? Ultimately, your story, your brand, that's where you want to become discoverable. And so it's really important to understand the empowering nature of the social digital web is really helping us all become more discoverable. Just like how you found out about this webinar. Many of you today on the webinar may not even know who I am or have heard of Passion Squared, but you are a friend of Ira's, and Ira helped you discover Passion Squared, and that was through Facebook. So again, think about discovery and becoming discoverable. Another super awesome thing is, I've heard for many years, especially when the internet boom started happening, and like recessions have come and gone, and I've always heard, well, thank God you can't do haircuts online. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but I've heard that in conversations throughout the years, and while we may not ever be able to actually physically do a haircut online, or sell a haircut online, we can sell haircut reservations. And I really want you guys to think about that. While we may not be able to physically cut hair online, we can sell haircut reservations. And that means online booking. That means being discoverable. That means promoting ourselves. That means using the hashtags that are going to allow us to become discoverable. That means when we try to drive someone to our website through Instagram, through Facebook, through Twitter, through Pinterest, through Yelp, whatever platform we're using, ultimately we're looking for somebody to take an action. What action is available for me to take today on your platforms? It's really something interesting and important to consider if you're looking for your engagement and your time and your energy being spent on the social web. If you're looking to turn that into both relationships and revenue, it's something to think about. We also need to understand the value that engaging on the social and digital web provide. And we call that social currency, because it's valuable. And these platforms allow us to engage continuously with clients, current clients, future clients, and team members. These platforms allow us to listen and provide client care. They allow us to encourage referrals and word of mouth. These platforms allow us and enable people to discover us and our businesses, allow for client connections or any type of connections 24/7, and ultimately foster relationships. Because we all know that relationships are the foundation of any person in life and in business. I mean, it's all about relationships. And one of the things that gets me so excited about the social and digital web for salons and for hairdressers is that you guys are relationship experts. It's what you know how to do so well, and it's why you're successful today. Now you take that to the next level by engaging on these platforms and even deepening those relationships and building new ones. So that's our why behind social and digital. Now, what is Instagram and why does it matter? Well, I obviously love Instagram. Ira obviously really loves Instagram and has been incredibly successful with it. And he'll be sharing his story in a moment. But it's really an experience sharing platform. And we think about what the social web has done to engage us and to allow us to share experiences globally. It's really a behind the scenes look at a day in the life of a brand, of you, of your story, of your life, your family. And that's what we love. We love to see others and their experiences. And that's one of the reasons Instagram has taken off, because it's a visual photo experience sharing platform. There's only about 100 million monthly users. 40 million photos daily get posted on Instagram. Beauty is huge, absolutely huge, as it is on several platforms. It allows us to tell our story through pictures. And as we know, as the saying goes, a picture is worth, yes, we've all heard it before. It's excellent to use using photo apps for befores and afters. And Ira's a master at not only the before and after, but the way he creatively posts his work. And he's going to tell us all about that. It allows us to share the behind the scenes. We talked about that. Engage clients with contests. We can do hashtag contests where people post their hair in different scenarios or whatever. And it's a great way to share and engage on Facebook. And we're going to talk about that as well. So what's your story? And it's really important as we're really engaging on any platform, but Instagram being no different, is to determine what your story is going to be. We all have a theme. We all have a story, and some of ours are more planned out than others. But for business, and again, we're talking Instagram for business, we really want to pick a theme or a story that fits our brand. And when I take a look at Ira's, and how Ira shares his story, it's very Ira, and of course I know him really well, but it's all about inspiration. It's all about entertainment. Ira loves music. Ira loves cool little clubs and bars, and Ira loves to do hair and does it really flippin' well. And he shares that experience through his story on Instagram. It allows us to engage with our followers. And again, Ira, and one of the reasons that I invited Ira to be our special guest is that he is so engaging. And for those of you that follow Ira on Instagram, which I'm pretty much guessing everyone on this webinar does, you can see that he always responds. He always replies. He's so grateful. He says thank you. And while those things may appear to be so simple in theory, I promise you in practice, they are uncommon. And one of the most impactful ways that you can build community and that you can build relationships and you can show your community that they matter is by responding and replying and saying thank you. And Ira does it better than anybody. Instagram's about speaking in hashtag, and this is probably one of the most fun things for me about Instagram is that hashtags are getting so insanely creative. And yeah, some of us can go a little over the top, but hashtags are almost a new language. Well, they are a new language. And really hashtags matter because they enable people to discover you. People search via hashtag, and hashtags allow for deeper engagement, and hashtags allow for connection, whether it's shared experiences, similar things that you love, people searching for things, and things to consider when developing hashtags. And again, Ira's going to talk about his how he developed his. Is it goes back to your message, your brand, and your story. So hashtags kind of like the new tagline. It's kind of it's really kind of like it's a headline, and it also is about discovery, engagement, and connections. When you look at different hashtags, and you can go on Instagram and search hashtags, but one of our favorite hashtags is hairbrained. And when you hairbrain.me, for those of you that have not been on hairbrain.me, it is the best community to share your passion if you are an artist. And it's awesome. And Randy and Gerard and Kelly are the best, and they're highly engaged, and they really care, and they make all of us community members feel like we matter. And what's cool is that Hairbrain's integrated Instagram onto their homepage. So when you're posting your hair pics, you can actually use the hashtag Hairbrains. And some of the pictures will come up in the on the homepage of Hairbrained, which is really super awesome. And the one that just happens to be featured right now is one of my friends, super talented Heather Chapman. And so I was super stoked when I went on there, and I'm like, oh, Heather's work is on there. So hashtags are really, really important. And I actually searched the hashtag hair, and there was 4.6 million results for the hashtag hair. So hashtags are really, really, really important to consider when engaging on Instagram. So let's go into how Instagram works. So for those of you that are brand new to Instagram, because I know we've got some brand new people and we've got some people that have a little bit more experience, I'm going to just go through the basics of setting up an account. And Instagram is an app on your phone, but they also now have a website. So some of the things that you're going to see that we're sharing, some are taken from the actual website, which is where your page is online, and then some are direct from the app. So the basics of setting up a profile, it's the same as any other social platform. But the thing I wanted to point out is to be sure to, if you are a business, be sure to have your website, add your website, and make sure to do your about or your tagline. One of the things that we see most neglected is these two areas. And so when we think about discovery and engagement and building relationships, we want to make sure that people can connect with us. So that's really important when you're building your profile. Be sure to have your website on there and be sure to have your either tagline or your whatever. Passion Squared is empowering awesome in people and business with love. And then you can find us at passionsquared.net. So it's pretty simple. Then the other question that we get a lot is the share settings, because we see people sharing Instagram images on Facebook, which is awesome. They can also be shared on Foursquare and Twitter and Tumblr. So what we want to do is we go to the share settings and we can link the accounts, and it's going to search the accounts. So you get to choose how you want to link it. And then if you choose your, Facebook, then it's going to say share photos too. So you want to make sure that if you're doing this for business, you want to share photos to Passion Squared, or of course your business. And as it's linked to your Facebook, it's going to pull up the business pages. Okay. And then you can add a Facebook tab, an Instagram tab to your Facebook as well, to where all the tabs are. So you can share directly to Facebook your Instagram photos, or you can put them in your tab. I really recommend, if they are tied to your business, share them directly to your page. The only thing is, if you Instagram a lot, like 8 in a row, I highly recommend not sharing 8 images in a row on your Facebook business page, because Facebook users don't like that type of activity. That's more of a Twitter kind of pace. So, but they'll always show up on your Instagram tab. And this is what, if you click the Instagram tab, your feed just shows right up there. It's really simple. Also, if you're a salon owner, if you have a salon, you definitely want to integrate your Instagrams with Foursquare. And again, super simple. You just follow the directions. And you can see when you get onto Foursquare, all these photos that are populated, those are coming from Instagram. So you definitely, if you are on Foursquare, if you are a salon, you can share those photos, because the people on Foursquare want to see your business if they're checking in, if they're looking for you. Also, you can integrate Instagram with your website. And we definitely recommend doing this as well. And there's several different platforms you can use to do it, but now Instagram has their own. And so all you need to do is select a badge. And I'm on Instagram, the Instagram, Instagram.com. That's where this screenshot's taken from. So you select your badge, and then they give you code. And then you call your super, super smart IT person, your web person, the person that knows how to copy and paste code, and you give that code to them. And then ta-da, it's magic. Honestly, I have no idea how people do it. But I know that if you have a website, you have a super smart person helping you with that website. That may be you. Awesome. If it's not, you have somebody that helps you. So For someone that knows websites and knows IT, it's a very simple copy and paste. Two other things to really remember when you're on Instagram is there's two options in the little heart section. You can see all the activity of the people you're following. That's in the little following thing. And then in the news thing, you can see who's liked your photos, who's commented on your photos, who's mentioned you in a photo, and which one of your Facebook friends has just joined Instagram. So this is a good time management tool to be able to see what all your friends are doing because you want to engage, but also see what's happening on your own Instagram. So you can respond and reply and say thank you. And then for those of you analytic junkies out there, which would be me, there's a really cool analytic tools to measure your Instagram activity. And the one that I use is called Statagram. And it's really cool because it pulls all your information off of Instagram and tells you what's going on. Tells you what's going on with your followers. It tells you what your most popular photos are. It tells you how many comments you're getting. It's really an engagement tool. Um, and it also says who your most engaged users are. So big shout out to Katie Butts for being my number one most engaged follower. My love for JPMS. And of course, my BFF and buddy Gordon Miller. Love you. Sugar Skulls, Alicia, Lucy, everybody. I love you guys. Love, love, love. But this really shows you who your community is and who's engaging. This one's probably one of my favorite is your hashtag usage. It's no surprise that the most used hashtag I use is awesome. Kind of embarrassing, but I was born in Encino, which is the San Fernando Valley, for anyone that ever watched the movie Valley Girl. And yeah, it stuck. So awesome. The other thing that's really cool, and I get this question a lot from the community, and this is for all platforms, but it tells you what's going on in terms of activity engagement with your community. And again, this one doesn't surprise me at all because the black dots at the top are when I'm posting, and then the dots inside are interactions from the community. I wake up at 4 a.m. I start my day pretty early. And so, of course, my posts are early morning. I know my community's not awake. I know better. Yet that's kind of what my habit has been. But if I look at this data, I see actually some of the most engaging and the most engaging time for my community, the people that I hang out with on Instagram, it's Thursday at 6 p.m. Well, I'm almost ready for bed. So I have to rethink my Instagram strategy because obviously I want to engage with the community based on when the community wants to engage, not vice versa. So I may have to go to bed later and wake up later. So that's kind of the what and the why and the basics of the how. And now I am going to hand it over to my buddy Ira, and he's going to really share his story about how he got started, how he created his kind of Instagram story, hashtags, how he went about that, sharing work, engaging, and gaining new clients. So, Ira, it's all yours, buddy.
Thank you, Nina. Hello, everybody. So, kind of a background for Instagram for me was that I used to go up to the Paul Mitchell schools in Portland quite a bit, and the young future professors there showed me Instagram. And when I first was introduced to it, I saw it to be simply just a site that I could put filters onto my pictures. And so I didn't understand its power yet and its options to having a community within itself. So I had the Instagram for probably a good 2 or 3 months, simply going through and filtering photos and not following anyone and not having anyone follow me. 2 or 3 months into it, then I realized that it was a social networking site. So then originally I started following tattoo artists because I really like tattoo art. And within the tattoo art and within following them, I realized how they so often go through and show daily different artwork that they did, different tattoos that they did. And through watching that, it really allowed me to realize, to learn from them, get inspired by them, not only in their creations of their art, but the fact that they showed it, the fact that they had the visibility and awareness, which I consider creating more of a branding. So they were branding themselves throughout it. And it also allowed me to see which artists had the same taste that I had. So I could see that they did this type of tattoos. If I were to ever want that type of tattoo, I would go to that artist because that's their taste, and it would be my taste for that tattoo. Um, so learning all that kind of stuff was the beginnings of it for me, I guess. And then through that, it allowed me to let go of my own fears, I guess, and start to take photos of my work. And originally, of course, I was just taking silly photos here and there of different things that I was doing throughout the day or whatever. And like many of us, I'm sure, who first got into Instagram, all of a sudden you feel like you're a photographer and you get addicted to the whole thought of the fact that, oh, I just want to find cool things to take pictures of and look like a cool, like I'm so artsy and I found the cool thing that no one else ever saw before. And I shared a lot of things like that, and that was that. I still do that every now and then for the humor. That's just me. But um, through time, I started realizing the value in the fact that I could take pictures of the hair that I did. And originally, for me, taking pictures of the hair I did was for me to um, learn for myself, was for me to be able to really be able to see hair in a different way, be able to see it in a still shot as opposed to seeing it live. So it became my biggest coach. And through that coaching, then I started to place it onto Instagram. And then I started to realize the following that I was able to create throughout it and the dialogue that I was able to get started with it. And the more and more friends that I started to acquire once I started posting up more pictures of my work, more than just of my play. And so started in that, and the biggest thing too for me with it was that really being able to acquire the happiness within my clients. When I went through and asked my clients if I could take their pictures, all of a sudden they just got this big smile on their face and so excited that they wanted to that I wanted to take their pictures. Some of them had been my clients for already like 10, 12 years at that point, and I never once wanted to take a picture of them. And all of a sudden I want to take pictures of them. So they kind of sparked, you want to take a picture of me? They sparked up and got all excited and everything. And then the funny thing, they start coming in dressed up even better because they're knowing that I'm going to get a picture taken of them. Uh, and then through them seeing me and following me on Instagram, they see how valuable they are within my network of friendships and everything of that manner, that they feel like they're all pseudo like insta famous in getting like 100 likes on their picture or things like that. They feel like a big supermodel kind of thing, for their own little inter supermodel, I guess. And then through time, I started going through, of course, focusing on my hashtags. And the hashtags for me was more of a organizational thing. I kind of wanted to be able to have a space because I'm not the most organized guy, but I like to live within an organization, and this was a simple way for me to organize my work, basically, to where if I wanted to quickly find my pictures that were simply hair oriented, I could go through and just check my hashtag, as opposed to looking through all the silly random dog photos or whatever photos I may have in my Instagram. So those were originally for that, and that's still kind of my purpose. But then I still realized that it serves the purpose of really being able to spread yourself out, especially once Hairbrain started doing theirs. I realized how much it just really spreads yourself out to a whole other community overall, and people that wouldn't necessarily be able to see your work because maybe they don't follow you could have the opportunity to see you. Obviously, the world has become much more of a hashtag world, and it's become bigger and bigger for sure. Um, so for me, one of the first ones that I did was it was my salon reality, and I did it too with the hopes that, honestly, for myself with some of these hashtags, I did it with the hopes that I thought it'd be cool that that maybe people could join into it. Like I expected more people to jump on. Some people have, and some people I see that perhaps maybe they think it's there's almost like an ownership, or they don't want to have that, or maybe they just don't like it. I don't know. Anyway, particularly one that like that one, and then another one with any length hair I care, were the two main ones that I really started to push early on for myself. Um, and at first I did where the any length hair I don't care or any length hair I care came from was the fact that of course that whole line of long hair I don't care and every kind of hair they don't care. And I realized many years back that I do care about everything. Some things just don't concern me or just don't bother me. So, um, so I then one day put my client, I put long hair I care, and then I went to lunch afterwards, and then realized, what am I thinking? I care about every length hair, so I should just switch it to any length hair I care. So I stuck with that since then, and yeah, it's been a pretty fun deal for me, I guess. This is very interesting. There's just a silence behind it, huh? Interesting game. Anyway, well, there is someone. Okay, Nina. I'm like, what is this bitch?
I'm here, honey. We're all here with you. We're
Thank
all
you, thank
here.
you. I felt so by myself. It was weird. Anyway, in my on my toilet. So sharing my work. Let's see. What do I put with that? With that, I would go into the thank you very much. Yeah. How I
You're
work with my
welcome.
photos. Basically, I go. I generally will take pick frame first because if you follow me on Instagram, you certainly know that I like mirror images, and I've evolved throughout my time for sure. But pick frame has been um, a really good one for me to have different frames, and there's all sorts of different ones. But it's been the one that I work for, what has worked best for me. And as of recent, at least, I've been much more of a mirror reflective guy. I like things that come in twos, I guess. And so that second one up top, I take that one and take off the frame, and then I'm able. I can also with pick frame I can switch the photo around so that way it can mirror itself. I can switch the size of the frame, of course. I can go through and also pick frame I use often. I do like their filters. They have nice different filters that I utilize a lot. So PicFrame's been a really good one for me to be able to adjust my photos and it created kind of for me a different type of photo art. That's the thing for me, I guess. I get a lot of people that when they see my mirror images, they want to see the other side or they want to see another image. And I'm guilty. I go back and forth. I do really look at, as soon as I've taken a photo of someone's haircut, I look at it as then being kind of my form of art, I guess. And I don't like I showed it for a purpose. Like you would never ask some other person to show another side, and I just stick to what I want to show because there's just things that I want to show. That's what I want to show, and so it's good for me for that, and with the filters as well. With Photogene, they also have the different frames as well, but they also have the thing that's really the best thing for me that I use the Photogene squared for is they allow me to watermark my photos. So if you look at pretty much since January, I think I started doing it. Once Instagram and Facebook and everything like that started saying that all your photos were going to be publicly used or available for that public usage, I decided that I wanted to try to create some form of my own ownership on it. And at least I know they could take my watermark off. I put my logo for Epic Hair Movement on there, and I know they can take the watermark off, but I want them to make it to where they have to work at it at least. I don't want it to be just so easy that they can just take my photo and take it anywhere. As much as I'd be honored by it, don't get me wrong, I'd be very honored if they used my photo for anything. I just still want to be able to have some form of ownership or some form of yeah, ownership towards it basically.
And
Um,
Ira, can I just jump in for a minute? For those of you
Please and thank you.
that don't know what watermark is, that's where the logo is placed on an image. So a lot of people, and actually Josh XO shared this with us in the content creation and curation webinar we did a few months ago and how to watermark your photos. And there's definitely a few apps out there. Of course, Ira introduced me to Photo Gene Squared. Hello, how can I not love that app? Um, but watermarking is definitely important if you want to mark your work. And here's the thing is that while that whole drama with Instagram selling your photos, that's done. That's never that, well, never say never, right, Benjamin J? Never say never. Um, they're not selling photos now. It's not happening now. However, the thing we all have to remember is whatever we post to social pages is really no longer our own. It's out in the world. It's on Google. It's on Bing. It's on Yahoo. That's what discovery is all about. Selling and using are two very different things. You know what I mean, Ira? So
For
I just
sure.
want to make sure that people understand that once we post photos to any social page, they're out in the universe forever, forever. However, um, it's really important to understand the difference between actually Instagram using and selling a photo as opposed to it just being available to the world. And if you want to brand your work, which we highly recommend that you do, a watermark is an excellent idea. And I'm so glad, Ira, that you brought that up. And to clarify as well, these particular apps that we're showing, these screen grabs are iPhone apps. But if you have anything other than an iPhone, which I understand some people in the world don't have iPhones, um, then go and do a search in your app store for your Android or whatever that all the other phones are called. And I'm sure that there's photo apps and all sorts of cool stuff. So these just happen to be the ones that Ira uses, and these are from the iPhone App Store. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, they're just really friendly ways that you can really make your photos so much nicer and have a stronger presence, I think. At least for the ones that, for my pictures, like I'm not a professional photographer in any way, shape, or form. I'm the furthest thing from. But these things can make it to where it basically like seasons the picture to where it tastes better to my eye. So
Right.
they're ones that I recommend.
And Ira, you also do befores and afters, and we all know that befores and afters are some of the most powerful, powerful tools. Not only to educate hairdressers, because I know you do two things, Ira. You educate hairdressers through Epic Hair Movement, but you also are a working stylist in the salon. So you're promoting yourself as a working hairdresser as well. And one of the things that I've noticed in terms of sharing on other platforms, such as Facebook, befores and afters on salon pages on Facebook are some of the most highly engaging posts you could do. And these pick apps allow you to do these really impactful befores and afters like Ira does. Because you don't just do the twins, Ira. You definitely have shared some pretty amazing befores and afters.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. And especially for those of us, like you said, Ira, we're not professional photographers, not all of us. And so to be able to create compelling content for social pages, again, I'm going to just go back to Facebook. This is a great way to share content on Facebook and to show the amazing work that you're doing for your clients and also giving shout outs to the clients. And I know, Ira, you were talking about that. You do that on Instagram, and that just flows right into, sharing that on Facebook. So that is super awesome. Ira, let's talk a little bit about some of your models that I know you
Uh,
talked about your tattoo people, which I love, and I follow my tattoo artist as well. But let's talk about some of your models and why you think they're so amazing.
I had you put down Larissa Doll because I think number one, I think she's a very talented like finisher of hair, and she's definitely, if you look through her photos and look through her stuff, she's a very consistent. She loves ombres. She loves this really pretty blown out hair, and it definitely lets me know, just like with a tattoo artist, if I were a girl and if I wanted to have an ombre and I wanted to have a really beautiful, long, blown out hair, this would definitely be the girl that I would go to. She's just so consistent. It's always quality. As you can see on this frame here, it shows, before and after. Even as she's really good with the way she labels everything. She's good with the way she frames everything. She has decent photos overall, as far as, and there's not a bunch of stuff all behind it and around it. Um, and she just does beautiful quality hair. And you're looking at 7,000 plus followers. You can see that obviously she's created her own following for sure, um, and is very successful within the Instagram platform for sure.
I love that. And, again, she has her about, she has her URL. The other thing that's interesting that you touched on, Ira, is the story is there. It's very consistent. And when I look at the brand, and again, this may have been by design or not, she's using the same very similar filters.
Yeah,
Everything's very consistent. And when we think about branding, guys, and we think about consistency, we're thinking about the colors, the fonts, the styles. On Instagram, that would be the filters. One of my favorite, not just Instagram, but bloggers that I follow are called the minimalists. And of course, because they're called the minimalists and they talk about minimalism in life and all of that, they blog about it. Their Instagram feed is very consistent. It's all black and white. It's all the same filter. It's all like single little minimalist type images. So it's definitely something in brand building that is something to consider. And again, everyone's brand is different, everyone's story is different. So we're not saying, you should go one way or another, but it's definitely something to consider. I'm going to go back just a minute, back to our little Ira tips, because I jumped ahead. Can we talk a little bit about how you have built your clientele at the
as far as
salon in Vegas?
utilizing through Instagram,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Let's
Uh,
talk about that.
in the last year, or so I've probably, I don't know the exact number, but it's been a lot more new guests that I've received through Instagram due to the photos that I put up there, where again visibility and awareness has happened. So therefore, it creates a brand and a following and a loyalty to wanting to get their hair done by the person that they saw on Instagram. So as you showed earlier on how the where you could show what's following you and the people that the likes that you've received and then the likes that your friends have liked. I
Yes.
think that particular thing has helped me a lot because so many, I've had some photos that have acquired a lot of likes. And so then I know if all of these people are liking my photos, then if their friends happen to see who they are liking, then it creates the awareness to me. And I don't know the exact number, but I've acquired double figures for sure. I'm not quite got to the hundreds yet, but double figures for sure, in the amount of guests that I've received through Instagram from them simply following someone else that I've cut their hair before, or say you said Heather Grammer or Heather Chapman earlier.
Yes.
I got to do Heather Chapman's hair last. Um,
Awesome.
as per added source of Instagram. She was referred to me by one person, and then since she saw my photos on Instagram, it kind of helped seal the deal for it.
Yeah.
So it sets people up, especially because I've done a lot of the before and afters. It lets them see that I'm kind of shameless and fearless on certain extreme images and looks, and that was exactly what she wanted. She didn't want to blend in with the crowd. So since she saw that I would go for haircuts, um, that's why she picked me to come from New Mexico to come up to get her hair done by me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So really, when we think about Instagram, and we're really going back to kind of the why behind social and digital, guys. We all know that Facebook, we understand that concept of showing up in the news feed. We understand that concept of every like, comment, share, and RSVP is being spread to friends of friends. So Instagram, while it's a different platform, the concept is the same. We're talking about engagement. We're talking about discovery. We're talking about creating value on our pages, sharing compelling content. We're talking about building relationships. So it's really no different. It's just a different platform to do different things. Now, I'm gonna pop ahead. There's a few other models that, and again, we definitely recommend finding models, because one of the best ways for us as a community to learn is by watching and witnessing and listening. And I always recommend that before you engage on a platform in any significant manner, you watch and you listen. And that's exactly what Ira shared with us. Before he really fully engaged on Instagram, he started following these tattoo artists to really get into the groove and find find what the cool people were doing. The cool people. Um, so we recommend the same thing. Find those models. There's a couple that we love. Danielle Valiente is amazing. She's an educator and a session stylist. And again, you can kind of see through her Instagram feed, it totally fits her brand and what she's promoting. DJ Muldoon, one of our most awesome buddies, um, with the factory. He's got an incredible Instagram feed, and he's both an educator for the industry as well as a salon owner and stylist. So you can kind of see that vibe going on in DJs. The Teals, our buddies, the Teals up in Portland. This is really their salon feed, and they're also educators for the industry. So you're going to see some education stuff going on, and you're going to see salon stuff going on, and the way that they capture the images in the salons, lots of day in the life in the salon on the Teals feed, which I really love how they capture the action within the salon, and a lot of personality, because the whole family is so incredibly talented and they do have big personalities. So they've got an interesting feed to follow. And then one of my favorites, which is just it's a barbershop around the corner from my house in LA called the Barbershop Club. And again, they have stuck to their brand so tightly, and how they tell their story. And again, a lot of day in the life. So they're taking shots of the barbers in action. They're taking shots of the products in action, having a beer outside the shop, or the tools that they use. It's just a really cool feed. And again, depending on what your goals are, if you're a salon owner, or you're an indie artist building a brand, or you're trying to build a session career, or you're an educator for the industry and trying to build a following that way, there's a lot of different models to be able to check out and really take the time to pay attention and listen and observe and watch, and then start to shape your plan. So here we go. Um, just like anything, determine your goals. We gotta have some sort of plan, and this could be a vision board. This could be on a Starbucks, cup. Whatever your process is for creating, that's it. We're not ever going to tell you the process to use. We're just going to share with you kind of the foundations of how to make awesome happen on whatever platform you choose to engage on. And it fits so much to Ira's story about getting on and paying attention and listening and watching, and then beginning to shape his plan. Then go ahead and set it up, connect, observe, listen, and engage. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wrap up the recording, and then we are going to answer. We've got quite a few questions, so we will get to the questions once we wrap up in just a couple minutes. So Ira and I both have a few things going on in the next few months that we wanted to share with you. The first one is I'm hosting a Creating Awesome workshop May 6th and 7th online. It's a live online workshop with me, and it's for salon owners and independent business owners wanting to build their a more impactful marketing, both online and off. So we're going to be going through creating a brand, storytelling, how to tell those stories online, how to build a plan to build your brand or to build your marketing. It's going to be really super awesome. So 2 hours each day, Monday and Tuesday. And there's 3 different investment options depending on what you can afford. Every investment option will get you the same workshop. And then Ira has a really super awesome, I love this, the mashup at the Mastery in Atlanta. And it's 2 of my favorite people, Ira and DJ, getting together. So if you are planning on getting some education. May 13th in Atlanta. It's going to be super awesome. And you can find information on the masteryatl.com or the masteryeventbrite.com. And then Ira's got an Epic Monday coming up in June 10th with our awesome buddy, Mark. And you can go to epichairmovement.com for information. Again, if you want to stay connected to Passion Squared, you can subscribe. You can either subscribe at passionsquared.net or you could subscribe on Facebook, the tab that says Inbox Love. And then, of course, you can find me everywhere. And you can find Ira just about everywhere too. And we just want to say thank you guys so much. Ira, first and foremost, buddy, you're amazing. You know how much I love you. And I'm just it's just so awesome to watch you grow, but to see what you've done with Instagram and just really see what you've done in building your brand. It's truly super cool to watch. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you,
Thank you
thank you,
very much,
thank
Nina. My
you.
pleasure.
We're so grateful. And to everybody who joined us, thank you so much. We know that your time is important, and the fact that you chose to spend this hour of your life with us is, we're grateful. We're super grateful. So thank you so much. We hope everyone has a beautiful evening. Bye, guys.